Today we've got some breaking news about a ban on crackers. That is right, Capcom just made this tweet about playing the cracked version of the Street Fighter 6 Closed Beta Test. I'm going to read the whole thing because I think the wording of the tweet is very important, and I'll explain my thoughts and what is going on afterwards. It has come to our attention that some users have been accessing the Street Fighter 6 Closed Beta Test software and playing the game outside of the designated period, aka playing the crack. This is a violation of the terms of service and can be seen as violation of the CPT Code of Conduct. For the avoidance of doubt from this point forward, very important words right there, any player who is shown with clear evidence to be accessing the CBT in an unauthorized way may be deemed ineligible for the upcoming Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League seasons. And we appreciate your cooperation and understanding in helping maintain the fairness and competitive integrity of our competitions. For those of you that don't know what the cracked beta is, I made this video back in, I believe, December, 4 months ago, explaining the whole situation. Essentially, we had the first closed beta test back in October 7th to 10th, which had 8 characters in the game, and you were only supposed to be able to play the beta for that many days, 3 days, 72 hours, but because the game got cracked, people were able to play it past that period, which is what Capcom is talking about in their tweet. This specific video was focused more on a certain situation with a player that played the cracked beta a lot and used his advantage to win a couple of tournaments during the second closed beta test. And this clip is basically a summary of my thoughts on the whole situation after going through all the details. But to be clear on my stance, I do think it's kind of weird that Chris did have this advantage and chose to enter the tournaments and take the money, but I don't actually think it was wrong per se, since it was never against the rules to have played the cracked beta. From what I could tell, none of the TOs actually explicitly said that people that couldn't play the cracked beta could enter, and people donating for the most part did know. The people that were donating to the match arenas for the most part did know that people were playing the cracked beta to begin with. So in my opinion, the cracked beta and playing the cracked beta has always been this kind of weird gray area up to this point. Like, obviously the first person that cracked the beta and started playing the cracked beta did a bad thing. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. But as soon as the crack becomes available and people start gaining that advantage, there becomes this weird kind of pressure from the whole situation, just the crack being available, to also play it and kind of keep up with the people that are playing it already. The timing on this decision from Capcom isn't really random. I think they mostly came to this decision that they had to kind of make some decisive action because of this tweet or translation from Giuna talking about something that Momochi said about the Street Fighter 6 crack on stream, which got a lot of traction, 1.1 million views in total. I feel like those playing on the cracked version should be permanently banned. Capcom is being too soft. There are certain overseas players who have even shown the crack on stream or tweeted it out, and this is true. Like, some people have accidentally shown the crack on their computer during a stream, and some people have even, like, no shame, just played parsec matches of the crack on stream outside of the beta period. So this sparked a lot of discussion on, first, if playing the crack is okay, second, if it's not okay, what should be the consequences, and third, if there should be consequences, how should Capcom be enforcing these consequences? And I think most people just kind of figured that Capcom would ignore this and hope it would blow over, but they made this tweet, and it's great to see because it shows like the increased amount of communication and awareness of the scene that they have. Like, Street Fighter 5 also had a cracked beta and they just said nothing about it. There's a couple of interesting points to make here on this response from Capcom. First, they should have made this tweet a lot earlier, like right when the crack was announced, but I don't think they realized how big of a discussion point it would be and how many people would start playing it, and they just didn't know what to do. But I think at this point, ignoring all the things that they could have done, how much earlier they could have made this tweet, at this point, this is the best message that they can send. First, they're drawing the line and basically saying there is no gray area here. If you play the crack, you are going to be banned from here on out, and you just should not play the crack. And this takes away a lot of pressure from people that were like, should I pick up the crack to kind of keep up with the other crackers? Because now there is a clear statement from Capcom that This is just not something you should be doing, and the crackers are doing something wrong. I think the most interesting 4 words of this tweet are this "from this point forward" right here. It's a little bit unclear, but I think from the wording, they are basically saying if you've played the crack up to this point, like, we can't really do anything about it. It's just a situation that we would have had to handle in the past. We would have had to make a tweet about this sooner, but now we're putting our foot down, and if you play it from this point forward, then you will be banned. A lot of you might think that this is not harsh enough, but realistically, this is the only thing Capcom can really do. This is the harshest thing that Capcom can do in this situation. If they try to retroactively ban anyone that has at any point touched the crack, there would be way too many players for it to be feasible, and it's just too late considering they haven't made a statement about it sooner. If they were to retroactively do something, I think like a ban for the amount of time that you play the crack would be fair. Like if you play the crack for a week, you're banned from tournaments for the first week. If you play the crack for a month, you're banned for the first month from the Capcom Pro Tour. I think that would be fair to like basically give people time to catch up for the amount of time you spent playing the crack. And that would probably be the fairest, but it is just not feasible because there are too many people that have played the crack up to this point. You know, even your favorite Street Fighter V content creator might have dabbled with the crack for approximately 10 hours or so. I'm not saying who, but just hypothetically, maybe that's something that has happened. For people wondering how Capcom could possibly know who has played the crack, I believe if you play the crack beta on the same Steam account, it's linked to your Capcom ID, and they have that list of players that they can see who has played the beta outside of the beta period. If they really wanted to, they could probably track IP addresses, since I do believe it pings the Street Fighter 6 servers as well. So if you're on the same network, they could probably figure that out. They probably don't have that list on hand, but if they really wanted to crack down on people, they could probably figure that out too. But obviously this wouldn't cover if you're like going to your friend's house to play the crack. So it's not going to get the full list of players, but it would get like most of them. But yeah, I think this is a perfect message from Capcom. I'm glad they're addressing the situation. I think if they wanted to retroactively time people out from events, that would be completely fair, but that's just too hard. So I think the solution that they have is perfectly reasonable. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Definitely leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Leave a like on the video, leave a subscribe, hit that red subscribe button, helps the channel out a lot. I'm going to be checking out the Street Fighter 6 demo. It's got Ryu and Luke. Crack-free, drug-free alternative to playing the crack. If you don't want to get banned, you can play some Ryu and Luke for free by playing the Street Fighter 6 demo, available on all platforms. I'll have some more Street Fighter 6 videos coming out soon about the demo and also some other topics, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one.